Well, after getting that new dust shield built for this Yellowstone Park stagecoach, I need to get that installed, and there's some other odds and ends I need to kind of wind up as well. My goal is to see if I can get this front axle mounted up underneath the rest of the undercarriage. Well, the coach bodies on these Yellowstone stagecoaches are suspended off of leather straps called thorough braces, and they go through the saddle on the rear axle, and there's also a pair of saddles that are positioned over the front axle. Well, these are designed to fasten to the end of this reach cap, and there's some irons that accommodate that. Well, I have 8 irons here, and they should have a pair as one punched with a square hole and one round, like so. This pair was already straight, so I sandblasted those, but we've got a pair here that doesn't have a square punch and a round. So somewhere these are not a match set, even through the design of this transition from the round rod to this flat. There are some variations in those styles. So somehow, somewhere, these have been mismatched, but they will function. I need to straighten these out, and I'm going to put them through the forge to do that. And then one of these two here, I need to put a square punch such as this one is here to accommodate the square head on a carriage bolt. Well, while those ThoroBrace irons are cooling down, they have a washer system that goes underneath, keeps the spacing correct, and also acts as a washer when these are adjusted. And this is just centered right on this bolt, which is this brace here as well. And there's a couple screws on each side that's going to hold that in place temporarily till I get my ThoroBrace irons in place. Well, the last thing to tie up on this undercarriage, I think, is the brake system. I need a brake handle, I need some brake shoes, I've got some steps to install. And remember, these push rods I just clamped in place because I wanted this brake arm and the brake beam, all that to be finally assembled to make sure I had my links correct, and I think I do. I have an old one here that's going to give me a bolt pattern, and there's something also that I need to do on these. And that is, as so often is the case, when there is a bolt that is this close to the end of a piece of wood, oftentimes there is a cross rivet that is put in. So I need to put those in on these as well. Well, this had one brake shoe remaining on the old brake beam, and it's a little worse for wear. And as these would wear out, you can see that they would just nail new belting, different layers of different styles, probably whatever was handy. And you can see how many times that belting has been replaced. It's like a porcupine. There are nails everywhere. So this is supposed to be notched out to fit onto this brake beam, but there's not much there. But I have one from another coach that I did years ago that has a good notch to it to show me just how that should set. There's a long shelf and a short shelf. The long shelf goes on top because as the brake is applied to the wheel, the pressure is down. So the bulk of this support is on the top. The remnants of this brake block has been split in half. You can see they should have 2 bolts on them. This is only one side with 1 bolt remaining, but I saved it because it gives a good relationship of how this notch is. And you can see it's also peppered full of nails where it had been changed on the belting a number of different times as well. And I also made some patterns of blocks that I had made previously, but these evidently belong to a brake beam that was somewhat narrower because they don't fit on this one. But I also found in my stash, I have a cardboard pattern that I had made that does fit this brake pattern. So this will give me a good idea of the shape of the brake blocks. And I see I put that on upside down. It's actually going to fit this way. Then just right ahead of this brake block is a step that fits right in the same area here. And that has 2 bolts to fasten it to the brake beam. So this will be relatively close. I'm going to make my blank actually a little strong so I can scribe it to the shape of the wheel. So these wheels on the back should be 54 inches. So if I take half of that, 27, my block is pretty close. I could maybe be a little stronger down here. That will allow for a little bit of a pad there if I need to add that. Be right in there. Little 54-inch wheel. We're going to be right there close. I'm not going to bolt this to the beam quite yet, so I'd like to actually have the wheel built and in place to see the position of that tire on account of some variations, possibly because of the dish. So I want to have the wheel built first. So these are the marks that position where the holes are that the bolts are going to bolt the brake block to the brake beam. These two bolts here, they're going to hold the step, are actually going to straddle that. But I've got a little bit of room on my shaping on this brake beam, 1/4 inch on each side. I could possibly shift this a little bit, but then again, that's where I would like the wheel in place before I actually finish bolting this in place. Well, I still have a brake handle to put on, but my main goal this week was to combine the front axle and this undercarriage to combine some space. It just seems like space is a precious commodity. So I can do the brake handle with the thing assembled. So I'm not really sure how this puzzle is going to work. Front axle's on sawhorses. I have the rest of the undercarriage on a dolly. It's just a puzzle I got to figure out. Now, any of you that just want to drop in at the drop of a hat, feel welcome to do so. Well, it's nice to have it a little more consolidated with part of the running gear here, and I had the front axle over here. I couldn't hardly even walk through here. So This helps a bunch. Still got a brake handle to do, and there's a special foot iron that I have to fabricate for that too. I like what I'm seeing. Appreciate coming along. Thanks for watching.